3, to discuss and or approve the contract for lobbying service, and that's Mr. Quincy Mukoro. Did I pronounce your?
That was perfect, Mayor.
I've been calling you Quincy. Did I get it right?
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Mukoro.
Step through here. Well, I'd like to thank Mayor and Council, City Manager for having me here today, and the people of Grenada. I'm a hometown guy from Greenwood, Mississippi, just around the way. I was the contract lobbyist for the Mississippi Municipal League for, say, 10 years. I went to undergrad at Ole Miss. I got my master's at Mississippi State, so my thing is I went to Egg Bowl every year. So anyway, about this lobbying proposal I'm giving to the city of Grenada. We've been here once before, and we tabled it a couple years back. But I think right now it's a good time to actually bring this subject again going into the next legislative session. And I'll speak to you about why this timing is pretty important at this point. Let me give you a little bit more background. Outside of my stay or my time at the municipal league, my colleagues were in other municipal leagues around the country. Outside of just lobbying services, what I would be rendering to the city would be my extensive contact list when it comes to different vendors who actually deal with municipalities and can also offer ways in which you can actually build on your revenue. And also, I can give you an example of a system where we were actually able to get technology for public safety. We ran across another city that I represent. We ran across a company that actually looked at the rates in which kids were being hit at school zones by cars. So we said if there was a way that we could come up with a solution to make these areas safer, we should bring it to the table. So I brought that company to one of the cities, and the solution was to bring a radar gun that had a camera feature to it, but it's automated by the pressing of the trigger. So you can sit there at school safety zones and record speeders and send them tickets. And then there'll be a split basically on the diversion program. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have sped through Louisiana and had to take those diversion tests a million times over for your insurance. I see the laughter there. So with that split, the Department of Safety would get some money, the city would get some money, and the company would get some money to continue to provide equipment, staffing, and stuff like that. So it makes sense, and speeding is remarkably reduced. Every child's life is important. I think that's a great solution. And along with that, we have other solutions going forward. So basically, coming back, that's an example. But the lobbying service is what we're also selling right here today. You guys have an extremely nice set of representatives and senators. So Kevin Durant is a really good guy. Lydia Chassenall. David Jordan, who used to be strictly Greenwood, is now here, and Representative Rosebud. So I think being able to work with those guys, work with you as well, your department heads come together, not only just the city, but I mean your chamber, other organizations around Grenada, to actually foster some kind of business plan or a legislative agenda that's beneficial to everybody else. In addition to working with the city itself, I'll also be in a liaison between the city and the county, or your economic development arm. So I think that way you will have one person who's in the know with everything that has to do with Grenada. So I will end on this note by just trying to show you a timeline. I have something in your folders. I think at this point right now, what's going on at the State House is, the legislative budget committee meetings. So everybody's trying to figure out the state in which the state of Mississippi would be going forward. But if we were to go into an agreement right now, we would have our proposed next steps would be meeting with city department heads on priority needs, and the timeline for that would be mid to late September. we're already kind of there right now. So you can see, and then meeting with the mayor and the board, and meeting with the mayor and board on legislative priorities. So you meet with your department heads, you sit down in the room, and they tell you this is what we need. Then we take that to the board, and we say, all right, let's come up with 2 to 3 issues which are important to us, low-hanging fruit, something we can look at. Then we start a strategic planning session with your state legislative delegation. So that'll be Kevin, that'll be Senator Chassidal. We're doing that early October, okay? Then next, in mid-October, we'll start to arrange meetings where we say, all right, if any of you council members are available, the mayor, let's get you down to Jackson. Let's get you to sit down with Lieutenant Governor. Let's get you to sit down with Speaker. Let's get you to sit down with the governor. These are what the cities who are really pulling in income are doing, and they do this every year. So if you're not doing this and you're not getting the funding that you think you should get, I mean, you're not on one of these schedules, okay? Then in mid to late October, we start drafting legislation. Then by November, before Thanksgiving, we get a final draft of legislative bills, and we're ready to go. Because if you're showing up to the legislature in January, you're probably too late. All right, that's it. And I guess my motion would be I guess I don't have a motion, but I guess my ask would be that you look toward passing this contract, and let's get to work.
Mr. Mukoro, I just have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
And that's when you got my attention when we had our meeting. Talk about the return on investment for this city.
Yes, and that's it. And I've always strived to say this. My reputation is important to me. I would not want to ask to sit on your dime if I'm not producing, right? So basically, the contract is for a year. If you don't produce, you don't renew the contract. It's plain and simple. So my idea is that if I'm going out here to work for you, I have to produce. Or that's going to follow you around the state, right? So that's it. It's not a permanent marriage or any sense like that. It's a 1-year agreement, and the decision will be yours.
Any questions from council? Any questions from council?
Thank you for coming.
What? You understand? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think I need to say something. Quincy, I've been knowing Quincy, I know 10 years now. Quincy,
15.
yeah, probably, I've been here 15 years. I think you were down there when I first
What
went.
you got here?
Quincy, you just doing out quick.
Sir.
You're not doing out quite through the budget yet. I'm just telling you, right?
Okay, yeah, no, I understand. I understand
You
that
got to
process.
finish that up this week. We have to see if we can do it. I'm just telling you, everybody got quiet because like, I think, we're trying to get our ground here, what we got, is work.
No, yeah, Councilman, I want, that's at the end of the day, that's the city's prerogative.
Yeah.
But, what I also mentioned to the city was, got already in September, so after that point, you're pretty much, pretty much gonna say, so, I'm gonna stay in my lane, and,
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the week, we can let you know, we got a couple of meetings after this. You see what we go in and squeeze this down and get the finance money, we can do this with. I'll be the first one. I know the value, man.
So, are you saying you want to table? I'm not the person about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm saying that I would take it to maybe like Friday. We got 2 weeks on it. We'll see what we can do. I can say if we can, I promise you, I'll do it for the first. I'm make a motion to accept.
I'm here to serve the city. It's not a decision for me at all.
Yeah, but I just want to know that.
Hey, not a problem there.
I just want to know that we value what you can do. I know what you can do.
Hey, no,
said, been around you a lot of years now.
Hey, thank you so much.
And
So it'll be a good asset for Grenada.
It would be agreed. So it's a motion by Councilman Wilson that we table this discussion to a later date. Is there a second for that? Second by Councilman Cox. All in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye. If you oppose, say so. If you abstain, say so. The motion does carry. Thank you, Mr. McCoy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.